Hi friends, this is Tina and welcome to my new video. I'm so excited about this video because we are going to set up my new bullet journal. I always use 2 notebooks in a year and this is my second one for 2021. This notebook is from Mellow and it's called Rêverie and it has watercolor paper. I actually did a full review of this notebook along with pen and paint test, and I will link that to the top corner of this video and in the description if you want to check that out. For my second bullet journal setup, I wanted to use watercolor and I went for loose florals and vibrant colors. This first spread has a key page and a cover page for the current year. I started my key page with making a small cute envelope from craft paper. I wanted to make it look like my keys are in a letter coming out of an envelope. First, I wanted to put the keys in a separate piece of paper, but because I also wanted to paint some flowers in this page, I thought it would look better if I just cut out the back from the envelope. As always, all of my used products are listed in the description along with all my socials and discount codes. I also have an affiliate link and discount code for Mellow if you would like to try out this notebook or their other products. My code is TINA10 and you can get 10% off from Mellow's website with it, and I get a small commission from the brand too. I'm using Winsor And Newton Cotman watercolors throughout this setup. I really love the whimsical and fun feel of these flowers. I didn't really spend time on perfecting anything and rather just painted away, which was really refreshing. I just went with the first wash of color for the flowers and then took a little darker shade and added it to the middle, and that created a nice gradient. I also made some small strokes to the petal with a darker shade to create some details while still keeping it very loose. With my Pigma Micron in size 005, I added some little dots to the middle of the flower, and I think this always tied the painting together nicely. For my keys, I have just really simple ones such as task migrated, event, and birthdays. I always mark my tasks with a circle and events with an exclamation mark. For the next page, I wrote 2021 and just painted the same kind of flowers in the background, again very loosely. I actually came back to this page later and added white borders to all of the letters and numbers that have flowers on the background because I just really loved that look I kinda accidentally discovered. Now for my future log. I always enjoy creating this spread the most because I love making small calendars, especially when I don't make any mistakes, and luckily I didn't do any major ones here. I used this exact same layout in my last bullet journal setup, and there's these 2 rows of watercolor flowers and I wrote the months on top. I really love how these paintings look so detailed and put together, even though it was so quick and simple to make. I know it might look a little intimidating, but trust me, if you just pick some cohesive colors and 2 brushes and keep an open mind, you can do it. I didn't look at any reference pictures or plan really anything ahead and instead just relaxed and painted. In my future log, I will mostly just write birthdays since I don't really have many events planned for the future. I included the months from July to December and from 2022 January through June. I feel like summer just started, so it feels so weird to think that Christmas is coming in less than 6 months. wrote the days with my Pigma Micron, I noticed that you're not really able to see the text, so with the Gelly Roll pen, I made white borders for the text so it would be more visible. I really loved the look and used it in all of my other spreads as well. This is my favorite spread of this whole setup. I think everything just goes together so well. Now let's get on to the next spread in my setup. I wanted to make a full spread for my Instagram tracker, and here I will list all of my to-dos and all of my possible collaborations and notes. I wrote Instagram here for the header and decided to paint some flowers and leaves for the background. About Instagram, if you haven't followed me on Instagram yet, maybe now is the time to do it if you like my content here. I post there more often, and I also sometimes post other art-related content that I normally don't post here. I have my Instagram account linked in the description along with my TikTok, but I have the same name there as I have here on YouTube. I think these colors and flowers fit my mood so perfectly now that it's super warm, there's flowers everywhere, and I've been just swimming and enjoying summer. I also love how this setup matches my new notebook. I really hope you're enjoying a nice weather as well and it's not excruciatingly hot where you live. We've had close to 30 degrees Celsius in our apartment, and that's a bit too much though. Here I just made this chart follower tracker, and I think it would look nice when it's filled in. Next we will do another favorite spread in my setup. In this spread I made my 2021 bucket list and my YouTube tracker / planner. I had another bucket list made in my first setup for the year, but I still decided to make another one that had more completable things. If you would have told me when I was making my first 2020 bucket list that a little bit over a year later I would write in my bucket list, go to a cafe or get vaccinated, I wouldn't believe it, but here we are. I don't really like making goals pages because I don't really have many goals and instead just list some items to my bucket list. It doesn't really stress me and it's just something fun to keep in mind. I've noticed that before I've sometimes listed in things that I don't really even want to do, but they're almost like popular things to include in bucket lists and like things you must do during the summer, etc. And I never ended up crossing those off because I just didn't want to do those things in the first place. I don't know if I'm the only one who has done this or feels this way, but maybe if you have ever felt that and want to make a bucket list for yourself, try to make it more personal and more you. List in things that you want to do. I went with a very personal approach and wrote things like go on a road trip, go to Lapland and Norway, stay up all night, launch an Etsy shop, and get 1000 followers on YouTube. All of those things are something I actually want to do and achieve this year. Many of my bucket list items have something to do with summer because I feel like that, along with fall, are the only times of the year I'm actually doing something. For this next spread, I made something just mainly useful and left the decorating to the minimum with only painting a small area with flowers. This spread is meant for all the things I've bought and also sold. I sometimes sell some of my clothes and home decor on secondhand apps, and it's nice to track those sales. I used to go to thrift stores all the time and buy so many things that my whole closet was absolutely filled, but now I only have less than 50 pieces and it feels so much better. I still sometimes buy 1 or 2 clothes and I like writing them down so I can see what I've bought recently. At this point, I decided to go back to my first spread and add those white borders to my lettering, and I feel it instantly looks even better. Now let's get on to the last spread of my new bullet journal setup. In the page on the left, there's my grid spacing guide, and on the right side, there's my handy period tracker. I always love making these grid spacing pages. If you don't know what this is and how to use it, it's a page you can always flip to later on when you're making, for example, a weekly spread that has boxes and you want to know how many dots they have to be for them to be symmetrical. I always mark down the middle points of the page in height and width and then divide my page in thirds, quarters, and fifths in both directions. This is especially handy now that I have a new notebook and there are more dots than in my previous notebooks. I wanted to still decorate this page somehow, so I taped down a rectangle area and painted some flowers and leaves and wrote grid spacing on top. I was basically using 6 watercolor shades in this whole setup. I used this mustard yellow, rusty red, pinkish purple, olive green, blue, and black to make some shades darker. To my last page. I made a really helpful and handy period tracker where I log in my symptoms and all that useful information. I again painted the background of this header with the pretty watercolor flowers. I haven't really hyped up this notebook in this video yet, but if you didn't know already, this notebook has textured watercolor paper and it handles paints perfectly. Honestly, I have never enjoyed painting in my bullet journal this much, and it's all because of this notebook and the fact that I can easily blend and layer colors. Now we are getting to the end of this video. I'm just quickly going to flip through all the pages I created here. I really enjoyed creating this setup and I hope you liked it too. If you did, don't forget to leave a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Also, if you watched until the end, maybe leave your favorite flower emoji in the comments down below. Thank you so much for watching my video and I hope to see you in my next one. Bye bye!